Hello, my dear friends. This is me, and I am out here just doing a little walk. Beautiful day. Behind me, I don't know if you can read the sign. Where is it? Yeah, right there. Ogopogo Trail in Paul's. It says Paul's Tomb and Ogopogo Trail. First, we'll talk about Ogopogo Trail. This is in the province of British Columbia, in the western side of Canada. It's like northwest North America where this is located. And what's behind me here is called Lake Okanagan, which apparently has this creature called the Ogopogo. It's like the Loch Ness Monsters, those who might be familiar with it. It's like a serpentine dragon-like creature that apparently dwells in here. And that's again, all these myths and legends are found everywhere. And as I've been talking about history, the origin of all these creatures is a very, very interesting study, right? Sorry, I'm just fixing my glove here. All right. Interesting study in that obviously there's so many monsters, like, what the Bible calls them devils, but monsters in the sense that they are physical creatures. Like in this area here, up in these hills and mountains all around here, they also have a lot of stories of the Sasquatch, which is called Bigfoot, which is a hairy humanoid creature. It can be anywhere like 7, 8, 9 feet tall and big. And, there are so many stories here that people have seen these and they live in these mountains. Who knows? Who knows? So what the point is that this earth here that God has created and the worlds that exist upon it. Worlds are places of habitation, whether they are inhabited by mankind like us, who dwell mostly in cities and villages and groups of people, or they are like, worlds of animals, like, the ants have their own world inside the earth, whatever, moles, bats, they all have their own worlds. But, then there are also worlds of these other, they call cryptids, or like other unknown species of creatures, such as this Ogopogo, whose legends and myths go back thousands of years, like all the native Indians that were here. That's where that name comes from, Ogopogo, that they have talked about it for so very long. So who's to say that these things, that don't exist? In my opinion, they are very real. They exist up to this day, and they exist not just, there is a spirit component to it, which I can't really tell you what it is because I don't know myself. But, there's a good possibility that a lot of these are really just physical creatures like the Bible talks about, right? Like the Behemoth or the Leviathan. God spent a whole chapter in the book of Job talking about the Leviathan, which is like a creature that's just so large and so gigantic that we can't even have any clue and imagine anything about the dimensions of this creature. Talks about unicorns, satyrs, abominable birds, all manners of things the Bible talks about. So, do these things exist? Oh, I would say that they certainly do. So the reason I brought up this Ogopogo and Sasquatch and all that is because to highlight this fact, in this world, especially by blind science, they basically tell us, we know everything that exists in here, on this earth or inside the waters, etc. No, they don't. I would venture to say they probably don't even know 1% of that which exists on our very earth, never mind in the heavens and up in the heaven of God. Now, if we turn to Revelation chapter 5, beginning in verse 11, this is a description of heaven where God's throne is situated. And it talks about beasts, it talks about cherubim, it talks about, species of man-like beings that are surrounding the throne of God, which are obviously not of the race of mankind as we have here on earth. So, and it talks about beasts. So there's like so much variety of living beings that are found in heaven itself. And then, but what is interesting is, and in verse 13, which I will read to you, it tells us, all the places that are inhabited by living creatures that seem to be intelligence in that they can think and they can speak and they can process information. So we read in Revelation chapter 5, verse 11, and I beheld and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne and the beasts and the elders. And the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands, saying with a loud voice, Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. So this is a description all through Revelation about, this variety of creatures that exist right about the throne of the Creator himself. But look at this here in verse 13. And every creature which is in heaven, creature in heaven and on the earth and under the earth, and such are in the sea, and all that are in them heard us saying, Blessing and honor and glory be unto him that sitteth upon the throne and unto the Lamb forever and ever. So how many places does it tell us that these living creatures exist that obviously have some intelligence, okay? Every creature which is in heaven, so obviously in heaven, on the earth, which would be the surface of the earth, creatures like mankind and these animals and beasts that we are aware of, under the earth, okay? So yes, we know, there are creatures that exist inside the earth. I mean, hey, you go back to your backyard and you just dig it up a little bit, there's such a vast variety, even like, a couple of square meters, that it really boggles your mind. Now, does that all there is? These insects or something like that you find there? No, there's much, much more. And that's where these stories about, giants and trolls and Sasquatch and all these creatures that come out of the caves and mountain dens, etc., they are found all over the world. So are these just fiction? I would say not. Sea serpents and other things inside the waters, sea monsters and such things, Leviathan like the Bible talks about, are these all fiction? I would say not, because the Bible tells us that that there is life everywhere. Creature which is in heaven and on the earth and under the earth, and such are in the sea, all of them heard I saying. Okay? So basically the Bible leaves no place in creation that is not inhabited by some living creature. Just because we cannot see them with our eyes doesn't mean that they do not exist. Even this earth is so vast and mysterious, although lying science would have you say that every part of this earth has been explored, I would venture to say that probably not even 5% of it has really been explored. It is so much bigger and so much vast, such vastness to it, and such difficulty in exploring most of these places that we really have no idea. So we shouldn't dismiss it that, there are many other forms of life, and that really why I want to bring it out is not so much, to talk about Sasquatch or something, but to talk about the Creator, that his creation is so much bigger and inhabited by such a variety of life that we can't even begin to imagine it. Yet he has some purpose for each and every one of those creatures. That is our God.
Lord of grace abounding, Lord of grace abounding, we hear your voice resounding. Sing praise of the bell, ringing out that all is well in the quiet little town. There are no princes warring there, who count their gold in Satan's snare, that rusts away in dusty air. All that is for the king. Oh, can't you hear the song of a seagull's cry as a fisher of the town goes sailing by, to cast their nets while fishes sigh? All that is for the king. Oh, let us be joyful, let us dance, for a soldier will one day sheathe his lance, and the nation shall take a godly stand. All that is for the king. Lord of grace, abound thee. Lord of grace, abounding. We hear your voice resounding. Sing praise to the living God. Hear the ringing of the bell, singing out that all is well in the quiet